PvZ Replanted launched a couple weeks ago with major backlash from the PvZ community. From AI upscaled assets to the exclusion of the original artists, it was a complete disaster for my favorite gaming studio, Satan. Steam players managed to play the game earlier than intended, which resulted in some weird discoveries many people already pointed out. However, after the official launch, the sentiment of some members of the community shifted to a more positive tone. Now, I am not a hardcore PvZ fan, so I decided to test it out and see for myself. I intelligently paid 20 euros for a 16-year-old game that costs $5 and began what ultimately became one of the most boring RNG grinds I ever did, all thanks to one singular trophy. Let's get into it. The first trophy of many we go for is for completing the adventure mode. Basic PvZ experience everybody has played on their mom's phone when they were like, I don't know, 7. This adventure mode takes us through 5 different stages, each containing some sort of a gimmick. What doesn't change, however, is the principle of these levels. Get rid of every single zombie on the map. Each stage has 10 levels, and in every single one, our mission is to plant our defense on the left and eliminate the boomers on the right quick enough. They cannot get into our house. If they do, it's GG. There are some exceptions where you do other stuff like play whack-a-mole or bowling, but we will get to them later. We unlock the plants in our arsenal periodically after completing different levels. Each plant is unique and varies quite drastically. The first 3 plants we acquire are the perfect example of what I mean. Pea shooter, the first plant we get, is also the most iconic one. It's really simple in function. Plant it and it shoots. Amazing. Sunflower is the second plant we have, and all it does is spawn sun. It may not seem like much, but believe me, it's praise the sun time. Sun is the main economy of the game we use to actually plant the plants. The third plant on our list is the cherry bomb, which differs in the fact that it explodes. It explodes in a 3x3 radius, which means we can strike more enemies at once. This will unlock our first trophy we get in just a short while. Anyways, as you can see, the plants play a huge role in their own ways. Obviously, some plants are way better than the other, especially since we have a limited amount of how many we can bring into each level. Every single plant has a different cost, and that is exactly how the game is balanced, and also where the strategic part of the gameplay stems from. Lower cost plants are weaker, which means you can plant more of them, while the higher cost plants are... I have no idea why I'm explaining this to you, since we already established you played this when you were a toddler, so let's just move on. Not every level is exactly the same. Some function as minigames. The first instance of this is the level 1-5, where we can place only the peanut. Peanut is usually stationary and is used as a tank to stall the lane, but in this level it's a bowling ball. Not much thinking has to be involved to pass this level, so at least there's that. Now that I mention it, the whole game isn't all that difficult, and it is very likely you will breeze through the whole adventure mode without failing even once. Making our way through the first stage, we arrive at the last level 1-10, which is another unique one. In this level, we don't use up any sun to plant our plants. Instead, they come to us on a conveyor belt, and they are for free. Was not to laugh. No, but seriously, these last conveyor belts are basically a victory lap of each stage. These are the same levels we will be playing over and over and over for that one RNG trophy I mentioned at the beginning. For now though, let's unlock our first trophy for blowing up 10 zombies at once with one cherry bomb. I did this by complete accident, by the way. I'm not even sure where these supposed 10 zombies even were on the screen, but I won't complain. The next stage we have to tackle has us defend our home in the dead of night. Since the sun is down, our sunflowers won't be as efficient, and that is exactly why this boy exists. A mushroom that also generates sun. It isn't as efficient as the sunflower since it has to mature first, but in the end it should be faster, at least I think. Not only do we have a mushroom producing suns, we also use mushrooms to defend the house. Mainly these guys, which you might not believe cost 0 sun. Extremely overpowered. Massacring our way through the night stage, we find ourselves in the level 2-5, which is another unique one. Hammer in our hand and the rest is history. By the way, the game sometimes moves extremely fast, and that is because I'm using the speed up function in the bottom right. It is free in this version of the game, and I only mention it being free because a similar mechanic in PvZ 2 on mobile requires you to pay. Fuck these companies, man. Anyways, in the whack-a-mole level, we acquire another trophy, Penny Pincher. Zombies have a random chance to drop random items upon death, and one of these items are the pennies. They are used in the shop for buying additional plant upgrades, seeds, and even items used in the gardening minigame. We will unfortunately return to this minigame in the future. To earn the trophy, we need to pick up 30 pennies in a row without missing a single one, because they despawn after a short while. Returning back to our adventure, we complete the last night level and move on to the third stage. The day is shiny as ever, and we also undergo some renovations on the backyard. A swimming pool where if we want to place any plant, we will need to place a lily pad first. There are some plants we can place without a lily pad, but those are rather situational. I feel like I'm repeating the word plant over and over. What the fuck is this? In the pool stages, we encounter one of the more annoying zombie types, the dolphin zombie. They enter only through the water lanes and they go extremely fast. Tall Nut is our best option at countering them since they can't jump over it. 3-5 is another level with a gimmick, and this one is extremely weird. We have our beloved conveyor belt ready sweaty and the zombies are tiny for some reason. Not sure who thought of this idea, but it was 2009, so we will give them a pass. Second to last stage in the adventure mode is probably the most annoying one. The pool is still here, it's the dead of night again, but this time the game also reminds me that I have yet to play the new Silent Hill game by Projecting Fog. You literally can't see anything through it unless you place a plant specifically to get rid of it. Planting here is still possible if you are fine with the fog, so at least there are options. I usually got rid of it by using the blower, which is a really nice situational plant. Not only does it get rid of the fog, it is also able to blow these balloon zombies away, which is really nice. There are only like 3 plants that can deal with them, so why not? As previously established, 4-5 is yet another gimmick level, and this one is really cool. Before us stand these vases that we must destroy. They contain either a plant or a zombie. We are not able to identify what is inside these vases exactly, which is the interesting part. You will get levels where basically the whole lane is just zombies and you get destroyed right after starting the level. It doesn't happen very often though, since one of the plants you can get is Squash, who has an insane ability to one-shot pretty much every zombie in the game. Defending our home during the night for the last time brings us to the last stage of the game, which is the roof stage. Instead of the lily pads we used previously to plant our plants, we will now use flower pots. These are essential if we want to expand our planting horizon. The roof levels are defined by one single plant, and that is the kernel pool. It deals extremely low damage, but it also has an ability to shoot a special shot that can stun enemies in place. Spamming these plants all over our roof completely denies any potential threat the zombies may present. Even the GigaChat football players get decimated by a single cube of butter. 5-5, which is the silly quirky level, presents us with only one primary option of defense, and that is the Chomper, a plant that insta-kills any zombie but needs some time to recover after each kill. A lot of time actually. We must plant these Chompers accordingly to the situation so we don't get overwhelmed. The adventure mode ends with one huge boss fight against some kind of a doctor. He spawns many enemies and also creates balls made of fire and ice, which we must counter by using our ice room and chili. It all depends on what the element of the ball is. The boss fight drags on for quite a while. I'm not sure if I was doing something incorrectly, but there's that. As soon as he falls, we unlock our precious trophy for completing the adventure mode and can dive right into the many specific trophies awaiting us. The first miscellaneous trophy we go for is unlocked by blowing up a zombie using the potato mine. The potato mine is unlocked in the very first stage of the game, but I never used it. It costs only 25 sun and can insta-kill various different zombies. The catch is that it doesn't function immediately and requires you to be patient for it to activate. Last Mo standing is the next trophy we get soon after. This one is unlocked by killing the last zombie in a level by a lawnmower. Lawnmowers are located just before the entrance of the house and they serve as the last defense before the zombies break in and steal your air fryer. I did this by complete accident by going AFK because I was getting kinda bored, I'm not gonna lie. The last miscellaneous trophy we unlocked in quick succession was this one for not using any pea shooting plants to complete a pool level. As you can see, I used my precious kernel poles and they did a really good job. Back in the menu, we can see that PvZ offers way more game modes than just the standard adventure mode. We have mini games, puzzles, survival, Zen Garden, Cloudy Days and a permadeath mode, which is called the RIP mode. We are going to be heading into the puzzle section where we can find 2 game modes. The first one is based on the vases we encountered in adventure mode and the second one is iZombie, which we will get into shortly. The first one is unlocked by simply completing all 9 levels available. They get more difficult each level, so we must stay sharp and think quickly. The plant we are looking out for is always Squash. He is the perfect counter to the more sturdier zombies like the bucketheads or even football zombies. My plan was always the same across every level, fully clear each lane before moving on to the other ones. This however didn't work 100% of the time, so panicking was plan B all along. After completing all 9 levels, the trophy is ours and we can head over to the Endless Vase level. As the name suggests, this level is endless, which means no end in sight. Once we break every vase and eliminate every zombie, everything respawns. We need to get to a winning streak of 15 and I'm gonna be honest, it was very simple. My strategy of focusing down one lane at a time and panicking if needed worked wonders for me here. There were a few close calls, but nothing a cherry bomb wouldn't fix. Without even realizing, I hit streak 15 and could move on to the horrible RNG infested iZombie mode. In this one we switch sides to the ops and play as the zombie overlord. We can spawn up to 9 different zombie types and our objective is to eat all the brains. There is 1 brain in each lane we have to get. Spawning zombies randomly unfortunately doesn't work since we still operate with a finite amount of suns. Each zombie is used for different situations, so there is some skill involved. However, playing just the 9 fixed levels doesn't really give you an idea of just how miserable this mode is. Successfully completing all of these 9 levels gets us a trophy, but we must come back later and play the endless version for the better of that trophy. For now, I loaded up the first level of the game and went for the Good Morning trophy where we must complete a day level using only mushrooms. The mushrooms are asleep during the day and that is why we must use another plant called the coffee bean to wake them up. With our new trophy acquired, we can go ahead and start completing every single minigame PvZ PvZ has to offer for the trophy beyond the grave. These minigames were the most fun I had playing PvZ, and I'm glad that they exist. Some minigames let us play slots, in others you will have to be careful about literal portals. Many of these minigames have a trophy tied to them, but I had no idea about any at this point in time, so I just didn't do them. Except for this one that I got on accident. All I had to do was eliminate 5 or more enemies with one walnut. In the last minigame we have to complete, we face off against the final boss of the adventure mode. The fight is the exact same, but he has more health this time, I think. I had to spend 8 whole minutes fighting this bum, just so you know. With all minigames completed, I set my eyes on the next game mode, which was the survival one. There are 5 levels here, all mimicking the main stages of the adventure mode. Each one of these levels also has a harder variant which demand a little more from you in terms of focus. They are basically the same thing as the adventure mode, so nothing too fancy. After completing each one, we get a trophy Nobel Peace Prize and can move on to the RIP mode. A mode where we get to play the whole adventure again, but this time we must not die. Once even a single zombie gets into our house, the run is dead and we will have to start the whole journey from scratch. Good thing we have the lawnmowers as our last defense option. Okay, never mind, we still get to keep this singular one, right? Life Well Lived, a trophy we acquire for beating the RIP mode without using a single lawnmower. This means we will need to play perfectly in every single one of the 50 levels the adventure mode has to offer. One full adventure run takes about 3 hours, which means that if we die, let's say on stage 4, that would be about 2 hours and some wasted. Brilliant. The game is really easy honestly, but replaying the same adventure mode was just boring and it led to moments like these. So we are currently on 4-9, which means the run has been going on for about 2.5 hours. I have my defense somewhat set up and I of course don't really pay attention. That is when suddenly, Pogo Zombie appears from the thick fog, enters my house, inserts inside of me his thick log. I was so mad when this happened, but I'm not the kind to give up. Going for another run immediately, we make it all the way back to 4-6. I was yet again not really paying much attention. A minor zombie spawns and tries to eliminate my backline. These zombies are really annoying since they can bypass your whole offense. The good thing about them is the fact that they can't actually come into our house since they go from left to right instead. One of the ways we can counter them is by placing magnet shrooms that take away their pickaxe and turn them into normal zombies. Now the issue is that if you panic, like I did, you can take away their pickaxe while they are underground. So not only do they bypass your offensive plans, they also turn into a normal zombie, meaning that I accidentally spawned a zombie on the last column of my garden. He enters my house, which made me want to leave the house. Through window. So many tears went into this trophy, but in the end we shall prevail. On the last successful run I was so locked in. I even got another trophy for hypnotizing a dancing zombie with the hypno shroom, another one for collecting all 49 plants in the game, and the last one I got was for accumulating over 8,000 suns in a singular level. Finally, after about 7 hours wasted on this one trophy, we faced off against Dr. Zombos. Making it to the absolute last level of the game, there was just no way I would slip up. Holy fucking shit, I don't have to play this stupid fucking mode ever again, thank fuck. I fucking hated this mode, what the fuck was this? Profanities aside, you could tell I was overjoyed. We unlocked 3 trophies here. One for completing the adventure mode again, another one for completing the RIP mode, and the final one for completing RIP mode without using a single lawnmower. After this tremendous achievement, I went ahead and got some easy filler trophies. All of these trophies are earned by turning on cosmetic skins for the zombies. Even though the publisher of the game is EA, we don't have to worry about spending extra on microtransactions. Mustache mode, crab head, and retro zombie skins all give us their respective trophies. One major aspect of PvZ I glossed over is the shop and the gardening minigame. Dave here has an Etsy shop where we can buy a bunch of stuff for all the pennies we are still collecting. For the next trophy Towering Wisdom, we will need to buy about 100 seeds from this exact shop. And not just any seeds. Seeds for the Tree of Wisdom. A random ass tree growing on some hill that occasionally spits some facts about in-game mechanics after we feed it. For the trophy we are going for, we will need to feed it about 100 times, which equals to 100,000 USD, which is just insane. The gluttony of this fella sickens me. The next 2 trophies we go for are basic miscellaneous ones. Pyromaniac, a trophy we get for clearing a level by defeating the zombies with only explosive plants. For this one we want to take the potato mine, cherry bomb, and chili. As soon as the level starts, we want to place as much sunflowers as possible so we can stack up on precious sun. Potato mine wherever there are zombies, and use cherry bomb scarcely since the cooldown is extremely long. I also used Tonut and Pumpkin for buying extra time while my explosive plants were on cooldown, as seen seen on screen. Might sound complicated, but I assure you it's no problem. No fungus among us for completing a night level without using any night plants is the next trophy we go for. This trophy is simple as it sounds. Just use the debuff sunflowers instead of the mushrooms and you are good to go. After taking a little break by completing random easy trophies, I decided to tackle the survival mode. We already got a trophy for clearing all 10 survival levels, but there are actually 11 of them. The last one being of course endless. We must survive 40 waves of enemies for 2 trophies. The plan is simple. Stack up as many suns in the beginning as possible. Once the zombies start coming, we want to promote our lily pads into cattails, plants that can fire into any lane they wish. After we've done that, we want to start placing melon pools for extra damage. These will also be upgraded into their second stage so they can start freezing the zombies. The next line of defense will be a bunch of gloom shrooms, the most overpowered plant in the game. It deals a ton of damage and can shoot into any direction. To get the gloom shroom working though, we must first place the fume shrooms and then wake them up with coffee beans. The last important piece of our defense is the cob cannon, the largest and also the most expensive plant in the whole game. To get it, we must place 2 kernel poles next to each other and then upgrade them. Cob cannon is operated manually and we can shoot it wherever we want. It basically shoots cherry bombs, killing almost anything in a 3x3 radius. Pumpkins, umbrella leaves and spikes for extra defense are a must as well. With this line of defense, even North Korea trembles. As I was defending my lawn, I hit 2 of these Frankenstein zombies with 1 cob cannon shot, which earned me a trophy I didn't even know existed. So yeah, once everything is set up, all we needed to do was keep shooting our cannons and not fumble. The trophy for surviving 20 waves came just as fast as the one for surviving 40. Cloudy Day is the last unique game mode this game has to offer, and it also has a trophy tied to it. The game mode works like this. During each level the weather changes. As long as it's sunny, the game functions as normally, but as soon as the clouds arrive, our sunflower plants disconnect. They stop producing additional suns. However, the good side of this is that every plant costs less sun and even the recharge on them is way faster. The best strategy for this is obviously spam as much sunflowers in the beginning, try to survive with the least amount of plants possible until the clouds arrive, and then build the second Chinese wall. This game mode is extremely random, but I guess the diehard PvZ fans have more content to dive into, which is nice. We have killed millions of zombies by this point, but there still is one hidden zombie type we haven't seen yet, and that is the Yeti. He is extremely rare, but there is a workaround I saw on the forums. Play the Adventure Plus game mode and get to 4-10 where he spawns 100% of the time. I did exactly that and the theory proved to be correct. There are 3 types of trophies we have left to get. The first bunch are the miscellaneous ones. The second trophy is for reaching a streak of 10 in the iZombie game mode. And the last one is the horrible enlightened trophy. Diving into the miscellaneous bunch first, we don't have much work left. First up we go for Grounded, a simple trophy where we must complete a roof level without using any catapult plants. All we need to do to achieve this is plant pea shooters over the downslope of the roof. Simple as that. Zombotany is the minigame we play next to get the walnut attack trophy. For this one we must simply beat the minigame without using any tanking plants, which are the 2 walnuts and a pumpkin. Shooting Star, a trophy we get for successfully completing the Seeing Stars minigame before the first huge wave of zombies arrives. Spamming sunflowers all over the place and defending with low-cost plants like the squash is definitely the strat. Zoinks or whatever trophy is earned by completing the Pogo Party minigame without using tall nuts or magnet shrooms. The only type of zombie in this level is the Pogo zombie, obviously. He can jump over any plant except the 2 that we can't use. This means that we have to kill them extremely fast just before they get behind our front line. The insta-kill plants are a must-have for this challenge while you try planting all the necessary melons in the back. A couple tries needed for this one, but not a major time investment. And the last final minigame trophy we must acquire is called Sol Invictus, where we must play the last stand minigame and successfully beat it with over 2k suns remaining. The last stand is special in the fact that we can't generate any sun. We start out with 5k suns and must build the best possible defense we can. I of course opted for the gloom shrooms since they are really that OP. Tall nuts in the water are for the dolphin zombies and garlic in front, so when the enemies try to eat it, they get sent into another lane. With everything achieved, we can finally move on to the iZombie Endless trophy. Getting a streak of 10 in this minigame is absolute torture. As stated previously, each zombie costs us some sun, and once we run out of it, the run ends and we must start over at the beginning. The only way we can acquire additional sun is by eating these sunflowers. Levels are however randomly generated, so if we get a bunch of levels without much sunflowers, we are basically cooked. The plants we have to deal with before thinking about beating a wave are the umbrella leaves, but especially the magnet shrooms. Magnet shrooms basically debuff any zombie that would be able to withstand more shots from the plants like the buckethead, footballer, or even the ladder zombie. The bungee zombie that costs 125 sun is the best answer to this plant since he can yoink it from any spot on the map. Unless there is an umbrella leaf nearby, of course. I think that this trophy is extremely RNG since I tried to get it for over 3 hours and the only time I actually pulled it off was when I got this level layout. twice in the same run. Sending just one buckethead was enough to deal with the whole lane. Many additional suns can also be obtained here since 9 sunflowers managed to spawn. Without the RNG god by my side, I don't think I would be able to get this trophy off my skill alone. The only thing left for us to go for is Enlightened, definitely the most boring and rare trophy there is to obtain. This is Zen Garden, our own garden fully owned by us. We can grow all 39 plants here for shits and giggles, I guess. This is also how we get the last trophy. Acquiring the plants is however not so simple. Any zombie in any game mode has a small tiny chance to drop a Zen Garden plant. Which plant they drop depends on which stage we are currently playing. So for example, if a zombie drops us a plant on the 3rd stage, the plant can be any of these 8. Remember, we need to collect all 39 unique plants, which means getting a duplicate of the same plant won't help us one bit. The best place to farm these plants is in the last levels of each stage, meaning 1-10, 2-10, so on and so on. Folks over at PSNP helped me out with this one, so thank you guys. I had to spend 8 hours replaying the same levels over and over again. There were times when I got absolutely nothing for like 15 minutes and I honestly thought I would go crazy. I'm not sure why such a RNG trophy even exists in this game. It's not like the gameplay is all that exciting. Add to the fact you will collect extreme amounts of duplicates, which could be prevented by simply prioritizing plants you don't currently own by the game. So many people are complaining about this. I wonder if they'll do something about it. After many hours clearing the same 5 levels, we obtained the last trophy, which means the platinum is ours. So is the game bad? Absolutely not. If you're a fan of PvZ, I think it's completely fine to experience this game one more time. The gameplay is really stale in this day and age though, and the platinum will take you about 50 hours, so get ready if you want to go for it yourself. As always, thanks for watching, subscribe and get ready for an insane video in the future.